Hello everyone, this is Cannibal Hacker Studios, and this is our Postmortem video for our game, Worm Corp. Worm Corp is a project that we've been working on for about 4 months now. It is a top-down stealth shooter. In it, the player controls a computer virus that has been placed inside Worm Corp's network server. The player's goal is to expose the evil Worm Corporation and wipe out all of the data on its server. In our game, we chose to represent Worm Corp's server by making it into an office building. Each floor in the building is a level that the player must fight or sneak their way through. On the top floor, the player will find the server room, which upon being destroyed, will wipe the server clean of all of its data. While playing through the levels, the player will find bits of data. Once collected, these bits circle around the player. The bits are used as ammo for the player to use against the enemies. The player has access to 4 different kinds of bits. Each bit is a different color and does something different. The yellow bits are the most common bits and are used for killing enemies. The red bits are used to destroy enemy bits. The white bits act as a shield that protects the player from all incoming attacks. And finally, there's the blue bit. Blue bits explode when colliding with an object or enemy. These bits have a wide area of effect. Any enemies that are caught inside the blast are instantly stunned for a short duration, and all enemy bits within the blast radius are destroyed. This bit is very powerful and is the rarest bit type. To shoot, the player simply clicks on the screen in the direction where they would like to shoot, and a bit that is circling the player will fly off in that direction. The yellow and red bits will return to the player if they do not collide with an enemy bit, or laser. The shield rotates around the player by following the mouse. This allows the player to protect themselves from any direction. There are 6 main kinds of enemies in our game. Each behaves a little differently from the other. 3 of those 6 are common guards. We have a guard that tries to kill the player by ramming into them, a second guard type that shoots bits at the player, and a third type that can activate the alarm. When the alarm is activated, it calls in a server admin. These admins are similar to the player in that they also have bits circling around them. Admins use their bits for protection and to shoot at the player. The 5th enemy type are the head admins. The head admins act much like the normal admins, but the head admins do not chase the player, they are stationary. Head admins also have a variety of bits that they can use. They have normal bits, bits that spawn more enemies, bits that explode into smaller bits, and bits that create a shield around the head admin. The 6th and final enemy type are the managers. The CSO, the COO, the CFO, and the CEO. These enemies serve as our final bosses in our game. They're similar to the head admins, but are much larger and much more challenging. Worm Corp has changed a lot over the last 4 months. Originally, our game was going to be a stealth game that relied heavily on minigames and puzzle solving. The player wasn't even going to have any kind of offensive abilities at all. Once the player was caught, it would be game over. We spent about the first 2.5 months working on this version. However, we began to realize that coming up with and designing puzzles was a lot harder than it sounded at first. The closest thing that we had to a puzzle was a maze. It was a very nice maze, but it wasn't really a puzzle. We also had issues with making the stealth aspect of our game enjoyable to our playtesters. So we came together and made the difficult decision to start almost completely over from scratch. We decided to spend our final month and a half by making our game into a top-down shooter. The only thing we were able to salvage from the original project were the guards that chase and ram the player. Everything else had to be redone. We learned a lot over the last 4 months while working on Worm Corp. The biggest thing we learned was to playtest often and early. Playtesters don't always tell you what you want to hear, but that's usually a good thing. Because of their feedback, we were able to transform our game from something dull and bland into something people could actually enjoy. We also learned to not be afraid of making tough decisions to scrap certain aspects of our project. Sometimes it's for the best. One thing that we think would have helped us and the development process along would have been to assign specific roles to our team members. Instead, we didn't do that. Everyone kind of worked on everything, which led to some overly complicated, unorganized, and duplicated code. This made it very hard to edit or add things in our scripts later. Thank you for watching our post-mortem video about Worm Corp, and we hope that you enjoy our game.